Parenting, it has to be one of the biggest, most profound journeys we can ever take. So today, we're going to dive into a really fundamental truth. A child's ability to thrive is directly, and I mean directly, linked to their parents' own well-being. And we're going to see how the power to connect and even to repair that connection is always within our reach.
So let's just start with the most basic question of all. Forget all the parenting books, all the trends for a second. What does a child truly need to thrive? The answer, as you'll see, isn't some clever trick or parenting hack. Nope, it's way, way deeper than that.
Because what a child needs from us, well, it's not a matter of opinion. It isn't a parenting style you can just choose. It's actually written right into their DNA. It's not a theory, it's pure biology.
And that brings us to our first big idea, a child's biological blueprint. Think of it like this. Every single infant is born with a set of expectations that are totally non-negotiable. It's like a biological contract for what they need, not just to survive, but to develop into a healthy person.
Especially from birth to about age 3, these expectations are constant. A child expects to be protected, to be nourished, to be loved and absolutely cherished, and crucially, to have their needs met consistently around the clock. Now, this isn't a wish list. This is the fundamental data their tiny, developing nervous system requires to build itself properly.
And this is where things get really interesting. See, our bodies are built to adapt, so when a child's needs are consistently met, their body adapts toward health and thriving. But what happens when those needs aren't met? Well, the body still adapts, but it adapts for pure survival. And that survival mode, it wires the nervous system for chronic stress. It's a state of maladaptation, which is basically a harmful adaptation that can last a life.
And listen, this isn't just a hunch. The huge landmark Adverse Childhood Experiences study, you might know it as the ACEs study, drew a direct scientific line between the stress of unmet needs in childhood and a whole host of serious health problems in adults. We're talking everything from heart disease to depression. So the stakes here, they're incredibly high.
Which brings us to the pivotal insight of this whole conversation. For a parent to consistently meet the biological needs of their child, their own needs for things like support, rest, and community have to be met first. It is absolutely inside-out work. A child's well-being is, at the end of the day, a direct reflection of their caregiver's well-being. Okay, so if a parent's well-being is the foundation, what happens when that foundation has cracks in it? Well, that leads us right into the dilemma so many modern parents face, this intense pressure and overwhelm.
Now, hearing all of this, it can be really easy to feel a wave of guilt or maybe even regret. But please hear me on this. That is not the goal. This isn't about blame. It's about awareness. Because once we're aware, that's when we get the power to choose a different path forward.
And here's the absolute core of the modern problem. We ask parents to do one of the hardest jobs on the planet, but we've basically stripped away the one thing we are biologically designed to have, that multi-generational community support, the village. It's often just gone. So let's be super clear. Feeling overwhelmed isn't some personal failure. It's the predictable outcome of an unsupported environment.
So what do? We cultivate resilience, but not the kind of resilience that just means toughing it out. No. True resilience is about looking reality square in the face, accepting it, maybe even grieving the support we wish we had, and then consciously adapting so we can still thrive. It's about actively building the support systems we need right now.
And all of this leads to a really powerful and honestly liberating shift in perspective. The whole point of this journey isn't to be some flawless, perfect parent who never ever makes a mistake.
The real goal, the true goal, is connection. It's about building a relationship that is so strong, so real, that it can handle the mistakes and challenges that are just gonna happen. It's about being human together.
And let's be honest, ruptures in our connections, those moments of anger or misunderstanding or just distance, they're gonna happen. They're an inevitable part of any real human relationship. The rupture itself isn't the failure. The real test, the strength of the relationship, is what you choose to do next. It's that commitment to repair.
So how do we actually do it? How do we mend those ruptures in a way that doesn't just patch things up, but actually deepens trust and teaches our kids these vital emotional skills?
All right, let's break down this simple but incredibly profound framework. Step 1, you genuinely apologize and you acknowledge your part. Step 2, and this is the absolute key, you do things differently next time. You embody the change with your actions. And third, you frame the whole thing as a chance for both of you to grow and evolve together. In that second step, it is completely non-negotiable. Why? Because kids are incredibly perceptive. Let's just say it, they have built-in bullshit detectors. They know the difference between empty words and a sincere promise to change. An apology without different action starts to feel meaningless, and over time, it can actually break trust.
And if you want to feel the real power of this, just take a second. Consider this question. Imagine one of your own parents coming to you today as an adult and giving you a genuine, heartfelt apology for a hurt from the past. How would that feel? For most of us, that would be a profound, healing moment. That's the power we hold in our own family. And here's the most hopeful part of this entire story, and it's grounded in hard science. It's something called neuroplasticity. That's just a fancy word for the brain's incredible lifelong ability to change, to form new connections, and to literally rewire itself. And because of that, it is never, ever too late. Healing and repair are possible at any age, in any relationship. So let's zoom out one last time and see how these deeply personal acts of connection and repair can ripple outward, shaping not just our families, but really our collective future. At the end of the day, parenting is about guidance. And sure, schools and communities, they all play a vital role. But those core values, that emotional foundation, that comes from the family. So the fundamental choice is this: to consciously lead with love and intention, because no institution on earth will ever love your child the way you do. And you know what? This responsibility goes way beyond just parents. If you don't have children, the question just shifts a little bit. How can you show up for the mothers, fathers, and children in your life, in your community? We are all part of the village, and we all have a role to play in lifting up the next generation. You see, this isn't a story about overwhelming failure. It's a story of profound opportunity. Instead of getting stuck on what we didn't get or what we didn't know, we can see this moment for exactly what it is: a time of repair, a time to consciously heal ourselves, to heal our families, and in doing that, to help heal the world.